Perhaps C9 is a little bit the opposite, like Bruno was talking about in the panel. When they're under pressure, sometimes they crumble. They like to say that themselves. I believe it's mainly Envy talking about that. But they know how much is on the line and how important it is. So hopefully for them, this is going to be one of the series where it matters a lot and where they pull off a great performance.
Yeah, I'm hoping for both teams to play a great performance. Really, I know a lot of people here right in the Key Arena have been sitting there with the same thoughts as me. I love both teams. I love both teams. To see one of these teams go down is already going to be really, really sad. But either way, I'm just hoping for a really great best-of-3 series that just displays why these two teams have so many big fans all around the world. But we're going to get ourselves into the game now as the foghorn gets to sound the creep wave. We're going to spawn out. So as far as the lanes go, running through, it's rather appropriate. I'll do Navi. We'll have Dendi not actually playing the mid solo in this game. He's actually up on the top lane, taking the role as the Mirana. That puts the supporting Kuro onto Alina. I'm happy to see him back there too. It's an old signature hero of Kuro's. Hasn't been played as much of late, but he's going to be in that role today. Horvorst in the number 4 position and mid-solo role, playing the face of Void. Puppey will be the rotating Enchantress, and that leaves Funnick actually playing the off-lane Elder Titan and not Kuro support, as was mentioned before.
And on Cloud9 side, no surprise here, it will be Bone 7 in the offlane on the Doom, Pilot Eye on the Earthshaker. In the mid lane, we've got SingSing playing on his signature Ember Spirit, and then in the safe lane, it will be AY 2000 as well as Eternal Envy playing Shadow Shaman and Morphling respectively.
There's going to be an interesting fun lane in the mid, man. You got Horvorst versus SingSing, the Ember versus the Faceless Void. And Ember Spirit, we know what SingSing loves to build on this hero. He likes having the high level up in the Flame Guard as well as the Searing Chains, which is going to be difficult for Horvorst when he comes in really close up against SingSing. He can't always just rely on like backtrack to keep him out. While Bone 7 cops a little bit of harassment up on that top lane. But it's that middle lane which everything turns around when this happens from Puppey. He just brings in the Satyr, he's slowly chipping away at SingSing, and SingSing can't afford to have this happen to him. He went the PMS to start with, which means he needs to have some extra help to make sure he can get to that bottle and then start controlling Horvorst.
And Horvorst managed to get a good time lock there as well.
That's not the random generator that SingSing wants to be facing up against. He actually he got the first point up in time lock. It's like Horvorst wants to try and man fight up against an Ember Spirit.
And in addition to that, of course, with all the help coming in from Puppey already, and with Ross starting out nicely on his own. Okay. Well, it is level 2 now, so 15% chance per attack. And of course, we should mention this is a pseudo-random ability, so if you get really lucky,
trouble bottom lane, Funny. This could be first blood right now. The last attack from Envy will get it. Aoi as well as Envy. It's a very, very safe lane with the Shadow Shaman as well as the Morphling, and they're able to capitalize and bring down that off lane of Funnick.
This is one weakness that Navi's draft has already. I think a hero like Elder Titan is one of the great offlaners on paper, but he's just so much worse on Dire than on Radiant, and you just see C9 taking great advantage of it right now. He can't really pull the creep wave, is struggling to even reach level 2. I mean, he's currently got 41 experience points and died for that. Sometimes it's okay to die in the offlane if you get like a level and a half or something, or 2 levels out of it. You'll see some offlaners just deliberately trading their life away for a better position in the lane, but Funnick isn't seeming to get anything down here, whereas Bone 7 being Radiant, he's already level 3.
Yeah, man. Look at middle lane CS. I'm actually really surprised. I know Horvorst has obviously been having a great time with a couple of nice time locks over on SingSing, but you've got this position where he's 18-3 up against a 10-for-1. The Void is in 4.5 levels. Puppey's going to be coming out of the jungle at some point, because you know as an Enchantress, he's got to be smoke ganking somewhere across the map. And then all of a sudden, you're going to see someone going down, because that Chrono's going to lock in that Ember Spirit, and he'll go absolutely nowhere. Also very, very smart play coming out there from the Earthshaker. Pardai rotated over and used the Fissure to stun out the Wild Wing. So he didn't have to put himself at any kind of peril and make sure that Tornado disappears from the lane. So SingSing actually has some kind of way of fighting here in the mid without battling the elements as well.
But yeah, you're right. This is some smart laning coming out from Na'Vi in the beginning, putting the Void in the mid lane, which I guess Cloud9 weren't expecting, and neither were we, especially with Horvorst on it. He usually plays the safe lane position, but in this particular game, Mirana's one weakness in the lane is that she has really weak base damage, and if you're playing up against an Ember Spirit who levels up Flame Guard, you also can't kill him with your magic damage. So the call from Na'Vi here is, alright, our Void is going to be doing great in the mid lane since he has good base damage and can just stand and sustain, and we'll help him out a little bit with the Enchantress. And then in the safe lane, they can also put more pressure on the Doom, simply because Mirana Lina is a flat-out better lane to put pressure than a Void Lina would have been.
We have movement coming out for, actually no we don't. We have Puppey coming down to check for the 4-minute rune. I thought that Centaur was coming with him, but it was just aggroed. Why is this top lane not really, like, Dendy is only 16 for 9 up on this top lane. There's more CS coming out from Envy on his safe lane as well as Havost in the middle lane. What's going wrong in this top lane for Na'Vi?
I haven't been following it that closely, but judging from Bone7's farm, I would imagine he has been disrupting the creep wave a little bit with some pulls. Maybe Na'Vi have tried to focus a lot more on harassing the Doom rather than farming, and then oftentimes you will be trading some CS as the Murano in doing that. And the third thing is, Bone7 ate a chain lightning creep, and he might have simply just messed up the lane equilibrium a lot with that. It's actually a really intelligent play picking up that ability here, I think. When you're in the off lane, it's a natural and easy way for you to push the lane if you want to, or to secure some easy CS. You see it right there. It's actually working out really nice. I think it's the first time I've even seen that.
Unfortunately, for the first time I watch it, I'm seeing, okay, now we got the 2 CS. He used it and then allowed both Denny as well as Koro to get 1 to 9 apiece. But either way, 5 minutes into it, that creep wave is so close to Bone7. We get the Light Striker ready to connect, but Denny is in no position to throw out an arrow, and also with the Earthshaker from Highline Eye hovering nearby, we go back to a very old school combination. We just have the Earthshaker babysitting. Now Light Striker right from Kuro gonna miss. This could be real trouble for Na'Vi. Puppy's coming in from the side. The Hellbent, Tomato Smasher looking for a kill. Denny too low, leaves himself away on low life, and now the Troll Trapper. Puppy's gonna try and do this solo up against Bone7, trying to get the Hellbear in front for the body block. There goes your clap, slowing him down, but he does not have enough damage to kill off the Doombringer, but he does keep Kuro and Dendy alive on that top lane.
Yeah, good play from Puppy to come in there and save his lane, basically. Both Kuro and Dendy missing crucial spells here, so maybe a little bit of a warm-up situation for them. We usually don't see Kuro missing spells like this, and the arrow from Dendy was a little bit off the mark as well, but they might be getting back in shape. At least the good thing for Na'Vi is the mid lane. You were talking about how Havost was winning the lane by about 10 CS. You know what? He's winning it by 22 now, and it's just the equilibrium that he's been managing to keep on his side of the river. And it's very hard for Sing to go up there and contest the farm, because Havost will just always go into just fight him face to face, basically.
Man, this is gonna get a little bit more difficult though. As I'm watching Havost, he's actually not going in for what I thought was going to be like early attack or something along these lines. He's actually going straight in for just a straight hand of Midas. So with this farm, it's almost like he needs to switch himself out of the lane and give some extra space. I don't know if you want to just switch Dendy in towards that middle lane to go up against an Ember, because that could just be suicide. But I think they're looking for a Chrono. Yeah, there it is. Chrono into Arrow. Where is the Arrow? Here it comes in now, and it will connect over on Sing Sing. The Flame Guard's protecting him a hell of a lot with the extra Starfall. Look at Sing Sing. Tanks up the entire thing, Spirit's back behind the tower, and now you see the power of that level 3 Flame Guard.
Yeah, it was unfortunate timing here for Na'Vi that they went in with the Chrono during the Flame Guard, else that is an easy kill, but blocking all the damage from the arrow as well as the Starstorm here from Dendy. I wouldn't call it a wasted rotation, because sure, they did put a lot of pressure, but at the end of the day, they use a Chrono, they commit about a minute time on their safe lane Mirana. Giving Kuro some space top is going to be great since he's close to level 6, but
he's actually a higher level than Dendy.
He's higher level than Dendy now, and I don't think it's that good of a start for Na'Vi if their Mirana doesn't get good farm. It's great for Void to be getting a lot like this. It's definitely not a problem.
Middle lane Havost. He just jumps himself over the top of the fissure. See, I'm kind of okay with this top lane. Dendy doesn't have a high amount of levels. Okay, that's never really a great thing. But at the same time, getting that level 6 over on the Lina, when you open up that level of burst damage, kills like what happened on the top lane won't be able to happen again for C9, and Na'Vi will be able to get the pick off.
But at the same time, it's at the trade-off of a level 6 Doom at 7 minutes, so...
True.
It's not the best trade in the world, and this is, as Gods was pointing out, it's probably the key hero for Cloud9 in this matchup to be able to deal with, in particular, the Void, so they have some lockdown or reliable lockdown and teamfight initiation out of him. And his counterpart on Na'Vi's side in the offlane, going to come back to that right now, Funnick is level 3, 8 minutes in. And this is the Elder Titan issue in the Dire offlane. He doesn't really have a plan B. If you're tied, you can maybe stack the Ancients and you can start farming them with Anchor Smash when you're level 3 or level 4, or you can just flat out go into the jungle, but Elder Titan really doesn't have abilities that are that good for it, so if he gets countered out hard, he really does.
It's gang time. Funnick's being attacked, but what is happening right now is Na'Vi actually picked up a triple centaur. One of them's timed out in the meantime, but the smoke movement's now going to break out. Kuro will see Pi, and he actually stands still. He didn't move out. The Spirit will come in. The Searing Chainsaw from Sing Sing kills off Kuro, and then the follow-up stomp. Funnick will finally drop him down, and Sing Sing, well, he's chasing after Funnick. How much damage has he got? Invis through, and he's actually hunting him invis into the Searing Chain, and the Morphling waveform over. Void Chrono back over towards Aoi, trying to get some kind of collateral, and they will be able to pick it up. It's a 2 for 2 while Dendy on the top lane running, and he's doomed up and killed off by Bone7. C9, it was technically an even trade in the bottom lane. Now the TP's double, in fact, coming towards the top lane. Bone7 thought he could walk past the tower.
Oh, what a
Light Strike array. He actually just walked straight through.
Really, really nice, eating the tree and cutting the path there. I think he might have even survived anyway, but still a great display of awareness here coming out from Bone 7. And this is the problem with the top lane. When Doom is level 6 and you have a Mirana, it actually, even if Mirana is level 8, if you get doomed, Doom can just run you down and kill you. You don't really have any sort of response. Very low hit point hero. Sure, Dendy has somewhat decent armor, but it's not going to be enough, so...
Yeah.
He's now going to rotate into the mid lane. He's currently level 5.
I'm not sure about this, man.
This is going to be another hard lane. Dendy's pretty much struggling no matter where he goes. There's no easy lane anymore.
It kind of feels like this is suicide. Funny's having real trouble up on top lane too. He got hit a little bit, and Bone 7 just keeps going with that lightning. But Koro, again, missing on the Light Strike Array. If he was able to nail that one, maybe with Laguna Blade they'd have enough damage to get through the Doom.
Could have got him down to half if they used everything.
And
he has 1250 health. There's actually no solution to the Doom for Na'Vi right now, apart from landing a Chrono. I don't think they can kill him, okay, if they chain all their other spells on multiple heroes, but there's no duo from Na'Vi that can kill the Void. The Elder Titan and Lina can't. They need the Void there.
Yep.
Or a perfect arrow from Dendy could maybe be enough, but I'm not even sure that's going to be enough together with Koro's Burst. They need to get through 1200 health and a level 4 Scorched Earth. Yeah. He's getting a lot. He already has the Buckler as well, working on that mechanism for his team.
Life is getting a lot more difficult here for Na'Vi. And of course, like, dude, I saw him on the bottom lane before. He was forced all the way back to base by Eternal Envy, just because Eternal Envy waveformed and attacked him a couple of times. And Envy is still free farming the bottom lane. It's a 77 for 20 CS, I mean 78 now for 20 CS over on Eternal Envy. Like, that's a lot of farm to have over on a Morphling. He's about to pick up his ultimate orb down here as well. He's freely farming, he's going to have a Lincoln Sphere before a 15-minute mark. This is really problematic for Na'Vi, because they're not going to be able to control the Morphling. You try and talk about how much damage have they got to kill up the Doomringer, they've still got control problems between Sing Sing as well as Eternal Envy.
It's one issue Na'Vi will have to deal with later on, is that they need to kind of choose their target, unless if Cloud9 just serves them all on a platter and they get a great Chrono on multiple ones. They need to choose who they want to burst down. I don't think killing the Morphling is actually going to be as big of a problem as you might expect, simply because of the Elder Titan's Astral Spirit Natural Order combo. If he gets Chrono together with that and you hit a Laguna Blade, Morphling pretty much just disappears and has 0 armor as well, so the physical damage...
Bone 7's about to doom up Dendy, and there it is. Fissure to set up, Searing Chains to follow up, Light Strike Array again avoided there by Sing Sing. Is a little bit too short and pumpy. Well, he finds Pilot Eye over on the side. At the same time, Kuro is forced a long way back. Pilot Eye, he is going to TP himself back out to safety. Even though he does have Sing Sing and Bone 7, they see the response from Na'Vi coming in. And of course, with a prepped up Chrono, they're not gonna play with fire. They don't need to. They are so far ahead right now. Their gold is up to about 3,000. Their experience is stretching back up to about 1,500. It doesn't seem like much, but in a game when you're running cores like Morphling, Ember Spirit, and Doombringer, these guys are very, very difficult to kill off.
And a guy who's been relatively quiet so far this game, AUI 2000, is now close to level 6 on the Shadow Shaman. I imagine he's going to be a lot more loud after that. He'll be looking to push down the mid tower probably with his first set of Mass Serpent wards when they come up here soon.
I like this as well. The man who he's farming right next to, Mr. Point Booster, running around on the Ember Spirit. This is something which C9 really, really prefer. They rush Skadi over on their Ember Spirits a lot of times, especially when they feel ahead. And I got a funny feeling we're seeing that again now.
He can afford to not go for a heavy damage build when he has a Doom and a Morphling, and they know how well the Morphling farms. So Sing Sing is playing a little bit more of a control Ember Spirit, I want to call it. When you get the Skadi and you apply the slow on everyone with the Sleight of Fists, it gets very easy to chase down targets and just control the flow of the fight. So once again, I feel like in this game for Na'Vi, there's a lot of pressure on the guy who just jumped in mid. This is an easy kill on AUI unless there's any sort of defense. There is not, but a turnaround.
Looks for the Searing Chains, then he's able to leave himself up, but now Sing Sing, he's in too deep. Laguna Play from Koro allows Na'Vi to pick up 2 kills. The Satyr Blast coming out from Bone 7, but he can't see Denny, the Moonlight Shadow, protecting up Na'Vi at the moment. And Bone 7's forced back to his side of the river. In the meantime, though, Eternal Envy has almost brought down the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, and the TPing support in, but Envy, he's just going to replicate back out again, back to his own jungle.
Does he have anything on the Courier? No, but he's
1,000
short from the Lincolns. This is a very early Roche here from Na'Vi as well. Not really that early, actually, but more like they didn't set it up perfectly in terms of how many kills they got to secure it. They've got Chronosphere on cooldown. They're in a decent position to do it with, of course, with the level 3 on Untouchable on Puppy's Enchantress, as well as with the Mask of Madness, but it's a kill that's going to take quite a bit of time. But as long as Cloud9 have no idea it's going on, it's probably going to go Navi's way for free. So actually, really nice play by them to turn one kill on Sing Sing into a Roche here, which is, you know, I guess it could be expected, but this wasn't an easy call to make.
Yeah, and
counterplay could come.
It's going to be really quick, and at the end of the day, they are just too far away. They don't have an Earthshaker there, so they can't control the action around the pit, and with no Ember Spirit inside the pit, there's no way to really scout out and see what's going on, because Sing Sing was using, of course, those to try and survive in the middle lane before. So it's now 5-4, 14 minutes in, we see the first Roshan take a fall. And the players just try and back themselves up, especially Na'Vi. You get a couple of kills, but you still need to make sure this turns into key items. You've already got Arcane Boots over on the Lina. What do we got from Puppey? He's got Urn, he's got Treads, but he still needs to go into a couple more support items for his team. And Vorst, it's great. He's got now an Aegis Immortal with his Mask of Madness, so he can be a little bit more over-aggressive, but he still needs to find a higher level of damage than just a Mask of Madness.
And he will need some sort of defensive items, because playing against this kind of lineup, I think a BKB is absolutely mandatory. Both the Fissure is great against Void when he opens with the Chrono. It's one of the easiest counterplays and one of the most reliable ones you can have against Void. There's a Shadow Shaman who I guess we assume will be going for a Blink Dagger as his next item. And then there's the Doom where, yeah, okay, it still goes through BKB, but if you're BKB, maybe you can actually reset and come back in the fight, because the physical damage from Cloud9 isn't there just yet. Eternal Envy starting with a defensive item in the Lincoln Sphere won't be able to do so much damage, and as we said, Ember Spirit going for more of a control-oriented build, so could definitely work out very well for Vos to get a BKB as his next choice here. And I want to point out too, Phonic has recovered very nicely. He's currently 8.5.
He has, but he's still behind the Doombringer. Obviously, you're always going to be behind the Doombringer when he goes 4 points to Valor. But the fact that Doombringer is already bringing the mech to the fight and Phonic is not, this is a big problem, because it means C9's team fight at this point is superior. It's superior to Na'Vi. Of course, Na'Vi do bring in your Enchantress army, which does help them out, but having that burst heal as well as armor, you really do. Well, I suppose you have all the Titan, so hey, some of it's also removed. But I'm still feeling like C9 have the advantage when it comes to the team fights.
And there's one thing we haven't touched upon so much now that you mentioned the Enchantress. Puppey generally plays really aggressive early game Enchantresses, and in some games he plays more farm-oriented, but I don't think this is one of the games in which you should just flat out...
Put that on hold, man. Mass Open Wards are coming in, and Sing Sing, he's looking for the kill on Koro. Now, Moonlight Shadow's going to protect him for the moment, and Sing Sing just jumping back on the Spirits with the Mass Open Wards down. They leap out, and Horse, the vision was too early from Pylon Die. They doom him up, but he doesn't have mana for a Chrono anyway. He's actually soaking this up because he is the Aegis Immortal. How much physical damage can they do? Aoi goes down. Denny, they can turn back over this one. Force. He wants to die so he can have the mana so he can Chrono, but he can't do it. They're mopping up the Mana Serpent Wards in the meantime, and now finally, Force goes down. It was the intention, it just came way too late.
And then Eternal Envy wasn't even there for Cloud9, so they trade one support for the Aegis, which I think is a great trade for Cloud9, in addition to getting half the tier 2 tower mid, forcing Na'Vi to go for rotations here, and they didn't really accomplish too much out of that, Na'Vi. Yes, they didn't use the Chrono, but I would still say good play all around for Cloud9.
Envy soloing Koro in the middle lane. He made a replica just in case anyone else was going to come to him, but he knew he could waveform in, had more than enough damage to kill Koro after having those 2 points up on Adaptive Strike.
Envy's definitely getting very big, and you see now, Cloud9, they realize what position Na'Vi are in, and they will be going for the tower here.
Watch the top lane, man. He's going to jump in for the Chrono.
He can't do it alone.
You're right. He's got a Harpy. Who needs much more? However, he's got the creep wave. Is he going to leap sometime? The tower goes down, and there's your jump in. He can catch Pylon and Sing Sing, but then he can Fissure, actually holding him there with the Totem Storm. Dendy, he's burning up, and now he's actually locked in next to Sing Sing. He doesn't want to be here. The Harpy, it's got to turn over. Where's their extra damage? Sleight of Fist, and he's still alive. The Starfall, and the Impetus. One last jump in from Void. Able to pick off Sing Sing. The support from C9 just backed themselves up. Pilot, I had nothing more to give.
I can imagine Dendy was getting really scared there. You're stuck in the Chronosphere with it.
Yeah. Shadow Shaman, that was not going to end well for you. He starts battling up against Koro, but while Koro's got Laguna Blade, Shadow Shaman is food to the Lina.
He still did manage to get the tower though, and the top tower has fallen as well, so Cloud9 are getting way more map control than Na'Vi now. Na'Vi's still looking to take their first tower. We're 19 minutes into the game and they're playing an Enchantress, and you were talking about the Enchantress army. I feel like this is the point when the Enchantress army starts becoming irrelevant. We're close to the 20-minute mark, the creeps don't scale, so...
Yeah.
Cloud9's items are going to make Enchantress a lot less relevant at this point.
This is one of those times when it's like Enchantress turns into an aura hero as well as a pure damaging hero, and you got to try and get a little bit more space for the Impetus during the fights. Unfortunately for the Enchantress, she's nowhere near the amount of farm required to even get close towards her Aghanim Scepter, so the buff up isn't there, which means he really is just becoming a bit more of a scouter and maybe can find some good Centaur stops. But holding onto your own creep wave, holding onto your own army, is really difficult when you've already lost your tier 1 tower in the top lane. So you need to be able to safely get back out into your jungle. But you see C9's movement here. They've left a nice observer ward, which is watching any movement inside the dire side jungle. And then anywhere else they can get nice deep observer wards, they want to watch the Na'Vi rotation. That's the only ward inside the dire side jungle. They left sentries across the top lane instead.
And Na'Vi are nervous about this top lane. They really don't know what's going on. Dendi tried to scout with the arrow, and they're still not feeling confident going up there. So they'll try to go on the aggressive instead in the enemy jungle with Havost in the front lines here.
Which is really smart.
This kill for Na'Vi needs to work out. It needs to not just be a kill, but it needs to transition into a tier 1 push. And if they catch out the right targets, I think they can get away with it. But at the same time, don't underestimate the ability to reinforce from Cloud9. They do have the Ember Spirit with the TP ready. Morphling has the TP as well. And they have 2 heroes in a very defensive position in the bottom lane right now.
Moonlight, Shadow, and Smoke being used, so even if the Smoke's going to break, they need to run down. Pylai is just sitting on the tree line where it's safe. And Puppey, well, all he can do is just grab himself a new Santa, and they'll force out the bottom lane. What else has he got?
They just saw Havost breaking the Moonlight Shadow in the bottom lane, so they know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
He got pinged out. They know that Na'Vi is in their own jungle. Now the question is, can Cloud9 make the play? They know exactly what's coming. This is all about who gets the better jump.
They're TPing inside the tree line as well, so Na'Vi have no idea about this. Remember, this is nighttime. The field of vision is very, very restricted. And with Envy as well as the Doombringer showing himself and the Spirit as well, Na'Vi have got to make a choice. Either they fight or they back up. But Puppey, he steals the Replicant and tries to send it away at the moment. Unfortunately, he's got no tango. He can't cut through the tree line. But he's going to send the Replicant as far out of position as he possibly can.
If Eternal Envy is a baller, he's going to replicate into that right now in wave 4 now.
Dude, he is a baller. He's got a Lincoln Spear as well as an Eagle Song. You know he wants to try and fight. And now they're actually using his Replicant to scout out a little bit, as well as the Spirit going through the tree line. But Vol still has that level 2 Chrono, just begging to be used.
Yeah. Eternal Envy wants to be the one getting jumped on here, as he does have the morph ability, but...
They're waiting. The BKB's flying out right now for Havost. So having that during this fight is going to be so much bigger for Na'Vi.
It's still very crucial that he doesn't have the Aegis anymore, though, because it means that Bone 7 can make the counterplay here with the blink into Doom on the Void, or just cast the Doom really quickly when he jumps in on Void. The cast point should be low enough for the Chronosphere not to go off.
Oh, nice fissure over on Dendi, but where's the follow-up? They're still not there. They are not risking anything here. Sentry Ward's behind the tower. They want to make sure that no one spots anything.
The thing about this, though, is that Na'Vi are showing their hand completely. They know that Cloud9 know that Na'Vi have 5 heroes down here, so they're just going to split push with Sing Sing. As long as nothing is happening, Cloud9 are getting more out of this. They're farming 2 lanes and Na'Vi are farming 1. They're getting more experience, more gold, and Na'Vi just can't seem to find the right engagement point here. They will need to find an opening soon, or else they're going to have to back out, and that would basically mean that they've wasted a full minute on 4 of their heroes here, which they're definitely not going to be satisfied with.
No, they need kills. This Harpy is trying to do some serious work. Hilarious thing is, too, with the mana pool over on this Harpy is quite easy. Puppey, now he finally comes down, and chance on Bone 7. I think he's just trying to elicit a reaction out of Cloud9, but Cloud9 are not biting the bait here from Na'Vi. This is such good patience from C9. They're using the trees. Pylai is definitely... He's just holding back at the moment. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger. The only thing he's looking to do is call off a Fissure in case there's an overextension. But Scorched Earth is now off. The Fissure will again connect on Dendi. And this has got to flag the fact that Na'Vi, this Observer Ward, is watching every single thing they are doing. Unfortunately for them, they don't have a Sentry Ward here. The only Sentry Ward they planted was back... Oh, that's the Radiant one behind the tower. They have no vision, no detection here beyond Spirit and whatever Puppey's able to pick up.
Yeah, the Astral Spirit doing a lot of work here with chasing away Bone 7. And actually Cloud9 are going to concede the tower. A little bit surprising for me. I thought they might have wanted to take this fight, but...
I think they were happy with it, man. They delayed the engagement so far. The amount of money which Sing Sing was able to pick up on the top lane would more than make up for what they lost by waiting on the tower on the bottom lane.
And with Eternal Envy now grabbing himself the Ethereal Blade 23 minutes in, he's going to start looking at single, just solo kills.
That Enchantress is going to hate life.
Puppey has managed to grab a lot of tankability, though. With the Point Booster as well as Ogre Club, he might actually survive it.
Dendi is really lucky to survive on that top lane just then. Sing Sing coming in with a high-level Flame Guard. But he'll be able to get himself away with 200 life points. The advantage of having those drums and treads first.
Still, overall, I guess we should say that just the way the game is developed, I guess it currently plays a bit to Cloud9's advantage. It's not about the graphs for me, but more about the distribution of farm, where they have 3 out of the 4 top farmers on their team. They have, and the 3 heroes they have are actually cores that scale very well into the late game. Na'Vi have good farm on the Void, but the others are falling behind quite a bit. But at the very least for Na'Vi, their supports, which is something we very often see from them. They make sure to farm their supports, and in some games, Kuro actually starts doing a lot of damage in the late game, even on a hero like Lina. And he's maxed Fear his soul, so he can do some damage, but let's see.
I like the fact too, like, it's just, okay, you're not getting that much fun. So what do you want to do? You just focus on your primary and your best abilities. So we go straight into the Aghanim Scepter. Poppy's going to do exactly the same thing. They realize they need a timing for the amount of damage output they can pump. So what they do is they just get Kuro and Poppy up to a point when the supports become a major damage problem. So if Havorsis, the man's on the front line, is taking it up and getting a couple of lucky backtracks, he's going to waste a lot of time at Cloud9, while the supports are the ones pounding into C9. And they use Funnick to basically make sure they get themselves the kill. Now, Roshan's back up again, so Havorsis will give this one a crack. I highly, highly doubt, though, that Cloud9 is going to allow this to happen. They have to be able to have a bit of a search out, someone to scout this out. Unfortunately, what have they got? They got Spirit or Replicate. That's the only 2 ways they find this out without putting themselves at jeopardy.
It was pinged out by Pilot Eye, and the rotation is starting now. There's still no Blink Dagger on this Earthshaker, by the way. He's pretty poor, 25 minutes in, level 7.
It's the smoke movement coming in. Bone 7, he's looking to make his way in. Their Sentry Wards, he gets revealed, he takes out the Satyr, and then the blast comes in. The arrow connects on Bone 7. Then Chrono in. Eternal Envy's joined the fight, though. Dendy, waveforms up. Maybe it's enough for Envy. Bone 7, he does go down. But Dendy as well, over next to the ancient area. Sing Sing looking at Havorsis. The Doom is on, but he can't get back inside the pit. The Fissure is blocking him out. Havorsis dies so quickly. Envy with that double damage. Now the Echo Slam over on top of Kuro. Laguna Blade's there. He's able to at least bring down what? Nothing. The Fissure is there. It's a triple kill for Eternal Envy. The buyback came from Havorsis. What, are they wanting to stop the Roshan from being done? Matt Serpent wants it there from Aoi. The Spirit's not making it any easier for them, but there is no way they can jump in there and get out with their life points to contest Roshan. C9 just took the greatest fight they could have ever taken here in this match.
So not only do Na'Vi lose 4 heroes, they also lose Roshan, and they waste a buyback. That probably couldn't have gone any worse, to be honest. And the problem was, the way the fight was initiated by Cloud9, Na'Vi managed to catch out the Doom, but they didn't burst him down fast enough. So he managed to get the Doom off on Havorsis, which was actually a really big deal. Even though the Chrono was already used, Havorsis wasn't able to continue fighting properly. And at the end of the day, if you Chrono one target, and it's a high-value target like Doom, he has to die before the Chrono ends. And Na'Vi just weren't in position for it, or maybe they thought they could get away with it without committing all their cooldowns, but it ended up backfiring really hard there. Now Puppy, oh!
It doesn't need much more than that, man. And because you have a Replicate, you can just jump yourself in and out so easily. You're not risking your own life points to come in and go for the shotgun hit.
They do secure the deny, though, so I guess Puppy's presence there actually made quite a difference. But still, Cloud9 getting another tower, more map control, with the Roshan going their way as well. They're looking really good to take this game 1. What Na'Vi have to look for at this point is, well, do they have any smokes, actually? There is no smoke available on any of their heroes. How's the store looking? No. 2.5 minutes for the next smoke rotation Na'Vi can pull out. The problem is the warding that Cloud9 has, they've got a good one around the mid lane on the upper ledge, and they've got one at the bottom rune as well. So Na'Vi moving out without a smoke towards the middle lane area is going to be really difficult. So they're going to have to look for the side lanes. But if they're not showing in the mid lane around that ward, it becomes pretty obvious to Cloud9 that something is happening. But they might still get away with it. Havorsis is going in here. Is there a follow-up? No, there's not.
There's nothing.
Not even close.
He brought all 5 players of C9 at the top lane, but Poppy doesn't want to be around for that.
This is a tower for Cloud9 without
Look at the Spirit. Sing Sing!
Oh!
Nicely done. Use the Spirit to get in range and lets Eternal Envy finish the job. The Sleight of Fist to the Searing Chain after using his Spirit to just get himself just a little bit further up. And this now means that C9 know the Enchantress is down, the Chrono is down, the Tier 2 tower is lost. Na'Vi have to basically look for a trade-off. They can maybe bring down the Tier 1 tower in mid, and it looks like Kuro's already trying to force this lane out as quickly as he possibly can.
If Na'Vi can get a trade, I think they should be happy with that, all things considered here. But I don't know if Cloud9 are going to let them. Bone 7 going in with Doom and Shivas.
He has just stopped the force in his tracks, evades the arrow from Denny. Bone 7 is moving perfectly, and Pilot die! The Blink Dagger in for the stop. He's holding a force in position. The swing, the deny! Kuro actually reached that, but he's getting diffused up by Bone 7 because he swallowed the creep, and now he's in trouble, slowing down. The Verana will also take a fall, and Elder Titan, they're all dying on different lanes. Kuro's still going to go down here in the middle lane, duking it out, but the fidget from Pilot, he waits it out. But it was up on the top lane where Eternal Envy is wreaking havoc. He's looking down at Envy. He's still got the Aegis Immortal, so he wants to go in deeper here. He'll be happy to die as long as he can kill off Puppey. He's going in so deep. He just goes into the enemy's base. Puppey is the only one alive for Na'Vi anyway, and he zones him out. The urn? Okay, will he let the tick happen? He doesn't have enough mana to turn around for a shotgun blast. And the Arcane Boots are still on cooldown for now, but the rest of his team arrives, and he'll let the Aegis go out. So he goes back to full life, and this means Puppey can't come anywhere near him.
AUI 2000 needs 5 mana to use the Mass Serpent Wards right now. I imagine he'll drop them immediately, and they'll start pressuring this tower.
There it goes.
Go up here, putting them in position so they're good at hitting the melee racks. So it looks like Cloud9 are going for the big barracks here.
Searing Chain's able to hit him. He needs a little bit more. I think he was trying to just be a little bit more efficient there and not use all of his abilities to kill off the Enchantress. But the Stomp from Funnick tries to slow down the C9 push. But the Mass Serpent Wards, he said, perfectly positioned right in front of the melee racks. A couple of them are still in range of the range racks as well. But the full top racks of Na'Vi is now lost.
Kuro actually went for a deny on the barracks.
Or forced? That's a very aggressive TP out. Is he willing to go in on this one? He still sees Envy. The problem is, you knew that was going to happen. He jumps out to the replica, so there was no point initiating in.
Now Shadow Shaman actually didn't go for the Blink Dagger, but finished the Aghanim Scepter, and this means the next push from Cloud9 is going to be even more explosive and just bring down the tower and barracks really easily. Whatever hope Na'Vi had on the back of us, it just seems like their overall strategy and their laning, they lost too much in the laning stage. They really did. The Morphling had complete free farm. The Doom got a lot more than the Elder Titan. The mid lane went okay for Na'Vi, but that was kind of the only lane that they really won. And if you're picking an Enchantress as your second pick in the draft, I believe it was it the second pick? I think it was, right? No, it was the Marauder. No. So it was the third pick. Yeah. So if you pick it as your third overall pick and you don't execute with it very, very early on, this hero generally doesn't have that big of an impact in the mid game. Yes, you can get an Axe Scepter and start dealing a lot of damage, but if the enemy cores have been farming and you're getting mediocre farm on the Enchantress, it just hasn't. I haven't felt the Enchantress pick be worth it at all this game.
He spent most of his early game just trying to make sure Havorst won the middle lane. Like, we were there going, hey, Havorst, like, great CS up against Sing Sing, but Sing Sing was also battling up against, like, Harpies, Tornadoes, Satyrs, all these different groups of Puppey.
And look how much he executed anyway. Look how much Sing Sing managed to accomplish in the game, even though he got countered early on.
He also got a lot of space up on that top lane. That big wait, the 2 minutes to maybe even 3 minutes worth of waiting time around the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. Sing Sing had all the time in the world just to get free farm then too.
But I can completely understand that Na'Vi went for that play when they did, because they realized in the game position and what was going on, if they just sit back and let the game continue the way it had for the first 15 minutes, they would just keep getting further and further behind. But they never got the opening to actually get in on the tower. Sure, they managed to get it in the end, but they committed so much time and so many resources to it that it wasn't really worth it. And I guess the story of this game is just Cloud9 are winning simply on draining the map better. They've also executed better in the fights, I would say. This is why they have more kills, of course, but the main way they've won the game is just by putting smarter lanes, executing better in the early game, and just farming way better overall. And you just see Eternal Envy now on the net worth graph. He's almost twice that of the second hero, who is, by the way, also on his own team right now, the Ember Spirit. This is a very, very fond Morphling.
Yeah. It's gonna get even better for C9 fans in a moment. Like, when you get a full butterfly up and you've still got another 1800 gold behind you, your agility is going through the roof, which means your combo is also going through the roof. The Enchantress cannot survive even with a full Aghanim Scepter, and the same for Lina. Lina's managed to finish up the full Aghanim Scepter on a level 13 Lina, but you've only got 1300 life points. That's not enough to survive up against a Morphling.
At this point for Na'Vi, I think it's not about surviving, it's about getting the opening. They have to one-shot Morphling. They need to commit, kill him off immediately, which they definitely can. Should they manage to catch Envy off guard with a Chrono, with Astral Spirit on top, and the Earth Splitter, and everything Kuro has, they can probably one-shot him. They need something to remove the Linkens for Kuro, though, so it doesn't block the Laguna Blade, and they could probably do that with like an enchant or something from Puppey. And if they manage to do that, it's a very easy kill for sure, and then that could snowball into a fight for them. But I have this feeling that if they don't catch the Morphling, if he's not the one they initiate on, it almost doesn't matter who else they catch.
Look at Pilot Eye. He's looking at two heroes, fishes both of them, and now in comes Bone 7 as well, with the Hot Stomp of Oz. The Chrono will go over on Pilot Eye, the Mech Charge helping to keep him alive, and the Kuro getting E-bladed down, the Morphling waveforms up. They lose the Earthshaker, but Sleight of Fist with the Battle Fury Cleave helping him out, and the Vor's got Ward trapped outside. And this is just almost over for Na'Vi. They're getting done inside their own base, and GG. GG. 33 minutes and just under 50 seconds. 21 to 9. Cloud9, in my mind and probably everyone else's here, that was a very convincing win.
Great game one from